Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 45 of Nuts and Bolts. I'm your host, David Reinhardt, and I'm joined here by Alex Santamaria,
Hey, 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 hey.
first-time guest Christian Minks,
Hello there.
and Jared Brazil.
Ho!
And we are here this week to talk about, mostly because I'm really fucking sick of people on the internet and in life just saying, why do we just get remakes and sequels? Why don't they give us original shit when we constantly get original stuff and people just ignore it? So let's talk about original IPs, people that decided not to make another sequel and give us something different.
So we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy for the next hour? Is that what we're doing?
No. If you want, you can talk about Clerks again for 10 minutes.
Isn't
I'd love
Guardian of
to.
the Galaxy like IP? Because it's a comic.
It's not original. I wanted to make the statement that we are not going to talk about books or comics, or because
That's everything, though. Then we can't talk about anything.
it's not. Let's talk about movies and video games, because a lot of the times
Yeah.
movies and video games are adaptations of books and comics, and that doesn't count. Like, most books are not sequels; they're original. Like,
I don't know.
I guess. I'm
I
just
feel
saying.
like books come out in trilogies now.
but it's still an original idea. It starts as something new.
Well, everything starts as something new at some point. What spawning point are we starting from? Spider-Man came out in the '60s.
Yeah, but we're not. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're not talking about that. Because of course, if you're going we're not talking about it was still original then. Most comic books, if it's something new, it's original. Or do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
So
But
like pretty much stuff.
What's the cutoff, though? I mean, let's say you had something that came out in the '50s. Like, there was some obscure comic that came out in the '50s. They made a movie about it tomorrow. Would you consider that to be an IP? It's like, well, they haven't done anything with it with 50 years.
but it's still but it's not no, it's
That's an
not
adaptation,
original.
though.
That's an adaptation. Yeah, it's an adaptation. It's not. That's what I'm saying is. let's
Okay,
talk
so we're
about-
talking about movies and video games that do not have a outside source material.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Or TV too, but
Or TV.
be careful with that.
Oh,
We be
Because, like,
careful.
I don't know. A lot of I love Justified, but that's an adaptation.
of what?
I don't know. I think it's called a book called Fire in the Hole, I believe.
Oh,
or
so
like-
we can
Well,
Die Hard. Die Hard is based off of a book.
How about
sequels aren't.
I did
Californication?
not know that.
Die Hard is not based off a book.
Die Hard is based off of a book.
They
the
put
first
that,
Die Hard.
I'm sure
The
someone
first Die Hard is an
put that in the
adaptation.
credits. They
No,
were like, oh, we're gonna be
literally
clever.
follows
but
the same
no.
plot, almost the same plot as the book.
Yeah, but it wasn't Die Hard.
It's still it was based on a novel called The Detective.
But like,
I-
how does that
The
book
worst
go?
title ever.
He walked up the building and shot a bunch of people. The end.
I don't know.
There is no book that's ever been written that has "I have a machine gun, ho ho ho" in it.
That was also from the 1966 novel. Like, that was from forever ago.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
but
they
it still wasn't an
Some
original
studio
idea.
had book rights, and they decided to use them so they could keep the book rights.
You're right, but it's still not an original idea.
Well, I mean, in general, it's not an original idea because it's just the dude is shooting dudes. But it also spawned like this whole franchise of 5 movies of
Well,
varying
Jurassic
qualities.
Park has spawned a sprawling franchise, and there were only 2 books.
But that's more directly based on a book. I'm
The
saying
second,
the book was
Lost
also
World
called
totally
Jurassic
is
Park.
not, though. That's
And then, I mean, a bunch of people died at the end of the book version, sure, but that's
and unlike the Lost World in the book. Oh fuck, what's his name?
it's not Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's character in the book spends like most of that book high on morphine and just being dragged around places because he gets injured. I think at minimum halfway through the book, and is just drugged up.
Well, he was the only one that lived after the end of the first book, right?
Yeah. I can't remember.
I thought everyone died at the end of the first book.
Pretty much everyone died at the end of
And
it.
they didn't
Almost
do that in the
everyone
movie
died,
because
yeah.
they're not stupid.
Yeah, and then they don't go to New York, which was God that movie was not good.
There's original IP right there.
That movie is not good.
Let's just ship a T-Rex to New York. What could go wrong?
So,
what's a good IP then? Like what? Like so is is Final Fantasy an original IP?
Sure.
Yeah.
It
The
was.
first one, yeah.
So okay, so that IP has spawned what? 20 video games? 25?
You're
Yeah,
right.
but I think we're more talking about like recenter stuff, right?
Yeah, well, like the one of the things I wanted to talk
Yeah, I know,
about,
research,
unfortunately,
sorry.
I did not get to see it, and then the one person who I know has seen it is not here, which is Dustin, is Snowpiercer. I've been really wanting to see, and that's something new. And people say it's BioShock on a train, and I don't know what that means.
I've heard a bunch of weird things about that too.
I've
Is it a
heard it
video
is
game?
an I have heard it. No, it's a movie. I've heard it is an
Movie.
okay movie, and then I've heard it is the best movie.
I
So-
heard it was like
That's
an
not
action movie, and then I also heard it was not.
Yeah. You want to talk about The Raid, Alex? That's original.
Sure. I'll talk about The Raid. The Raid was awesome.
So The Raid was a recent Indonesian movie, martial arts movie, written and directed by a white guy. I think is Gareth Edwards. Was he British or is he American? I don't know, but he's totally like decided he wanted to make this badass action movie and went to Indonesia.
Because that's the only place you could still do it.
Yeah, I guess apparently.
Yeah, even The Expendables has to be PG-13 by the time they get to the third one.
Oh, I need to
You should just probably go watch that.
the third one. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you could find it. It's around.
No, I know. That's why I keep forgetting that it's around.
It's at your local video store.
Did you watch it?
No, I'm waiting
No.
for friends.
I
But
want it to be better than the second one so bad.
Oh yeah,
I-
the second
I-
was disappointing.
Yeah,
Was it?
I saw that on my 21st like the weekend of my 21st birthday, and I was trashed, and I still didn't think it was that great.
Oh.
Like,
That's
Is
that
the
scene with
second
Chuck
one?
Norris probably couldn't have gotten any better, right?
no, there were some great scenes, but the plot was a mess.
Well, what do you go into those movies for plot for?
No,
There's
but I mean,
no
like,
reason
it
for
wasn't
a plot.
coherent. Like,
Right.
I'd appreciate a coherent plot.
No, the best.
Was that
action
the
movie.
was the second one the one where they had the automatic shotgun that made people explode?
No, that was the first one.
Yeah,
Where
that
Scary
was-
Cruz walking down the hallway with the automatic shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like
That might be the greatest scene in the history of filmmaking.
busted through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man that just kept going?
Yeah.
the second one didn't have a great scene like that. Like that was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's an original IP, right? Like
It is. It totally is. The
original
Expendables
IP.
series has been really good.
Let's get
and-
a bunch of fucking old action movie guys and put them in an action movie and then action movie it up. I mean, it's actually that's like the opposite of an IP though. Like it's the intellectual property has just been stolen for like 75 movies. It is the least original of all the movies, really. It's awesome, but if you think about it, it's just derivative.
Well,
of everything
we
else.
have something else on this list to talk about that is essentially that exact same case, except not awesome.
It's its own thing, though. I think. Like, I mean, it's its own thing because this is the franchise where all the dudes get together.
But you know what the
That's
difference
its own
is?
thing.
Is you could probably recite a couple of the old Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie character names. Do you know any of the characters in the Expendables names?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Barney
Why
Bob.
do you know
I
that?
just know their real names. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
Sylvester Stallone and Randy.
No. And
What's the
wait.
last name Christmas, right?
Yeah, that's Jason Statham's character.
Yeah.
And then Jet Li's character has like a really racist name like Ching Chow or something. And
Was
Chow.
Chuck Norris
Something
named
like
Chuck
that.
Norris? I think they should have just named him Chuck Norris. I think that would have been great. It's like, oh, I'm just Chuck Norris.
uh,
He's just a real
Bruce-
guy.
Bruce Willis's FBI agent guy was just like Mr. Sunshine or something.
Mr.
I mean, I don't know them all off the
That just
top of my
reminds me
head.
of when
but-
Chuck Norris shows up in Dodgeball.
I approve the fact that Dodgeball also an original IP.
Yeah.
We just got to talk about Expendables and Dodgeball. This is the best topic ever. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Expendables for the next 45 minutes.
If you like the Expendables and you don't mind subtitles, you need to see The Raid. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is like
Do I need to read the subtitles or can I just figure it out?
You really don't. Like,
if you want to
it
watch the sequel, you need to read the subtitles, and the
There's
sequel
some-
is like way more badass than the first one. But for the
There's-
first movie, it's basically Judge Dredd, except surprisingly way more violent.
Oh.
There's
Which-
some
which
slow
Judge
parts, but you could probably, even if you were just going to be in the mood of all right, I'm going to make this a 45-minute montage of action fuckery, you could do that, and it would still be completely enjoyable.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
It is one of the most brutal fights in any movies I've ever seen, and they just oh my god,
Skip
There's
ahead to the giant pile of bodies in mud in the
there's
middle
a
of the
scene
second
in
one.
the second one where a guy swings a baseball bat at a guy's head so hard it sticks in the guy's face, and he just lets go and walks away.
I forgot about that.
Yes!
That's early on.
Like, he
That's
like
So more
God.
so than Punisher Warzone.
I never saw Punisher Warzone.
Oh,
there's
you
a
should-
fucking
you should
shit
go
ton
see
of people in
that.
that movie.
Yeah, like
Yes, I
Punisher-
will go, Alex. I will go see that. 'Cause
I'll,
that is possible.
I have a Blu-ray of that. I could blend it to you if you need.
You bought that. You bought a physical copy of that.
Of course,
movie.
that movie is near and dear to my heart.
That movie is a Punisher movie. That movie is fucking dead
Yeah.
bodies.
I will watch it then.
Yeah,
'Cause that sounds awesome.
like Punisher Warzone is probably more on the side of the Raid than the Expendables in that level of action.
Yeah, it's just
Like-
it's murder fest.
Yeah,
It's someone's decided to mess with the Punisher, and the Punisher goes, "Oh, really?" And he murders everyone in the hotel, basically. I think it was a hotel, right?
I don't know. In the first 5 minutes of the movie, he's hanging from his legs by a chandelier with 2 machine guns, spinning around and gunning down a room of dudes.
That's the best description of a movie I've ever heard.
That's the first 5 minutes.
So we're just going to change this to awesome action movies and how great they are, because I don't think I can think of what's something else I should be talking about that's not an awesome action movie.
Well,
That's an
we'll,
original
we'll
IP.
get there, but because of that, I just kind of want to mention. Alex just reminded me of that scene from Shoot 'Em Up where Clive Owen is sliding down the rappel rope in the center of the stairwell and just shooting guys, spinning and shooting guys along the staircase as he goes down, and like killing like 80 dudes on a staircase.
I like Shoot 'Em Up a lot because all
Yeah.
it did was shoot people. That's
Except,
it.
except I loved Shoot 'Em Up the first time I saw it, and then I tried to rewatch it. And I'm like, holy shit, there was a lot of terrible plot in this movie.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why I don't care about the Expendables
okay.
plot.
Yeah.
Tune it out, man. I don't need to know why Sylvester Stallone is shooting missiles out of a plane at a dock. I just enjoy it.
Oh my God, Dolph Lundgren's still getting work. Good for that guy.
Of course.
Why is Sylvester Stallone getting 3 minutes of a tattoo from fucking Mickey Rourke? I don't understand.
Dolph
That's
Lundgren
okay.
sings at some point in the second movie. I'm pretty sure.
I think
I
so.
might have dreamt that though. I don't know.
Wait.
He was a bad guy for what, like 25 minutes in the first one, then he was a good guy again
Yeah.
somehow?
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Because he has to be a good guy so that they can play The Boys Are Back in Town during the credits.
That's true.
And
And then Stone Cold Steve Austin's the bad guy. Who's the bad guy in the second one?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
yeah,
Jean-Claude Van Damme, there you
and
go.
then Thor's brother shows up for 5 minutes before he gets murdered.
You know what my favorite part of the Expendables is?
What?
The guns?
No. Specifically the 2 sequels. Like Van Damme was the villain in the second one, and now in the third one, he's just his villain, that villain's twin brother. Because of course Van Damme
Wait,
has a
really?
twin. Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
That's amazing.
Of course,
What
because
a
Van
great
Damme
movie
always
series
has
that
a
is.
twin.
That's like somebody saw Die Hard 3 and was like, you know what? I like that idea. Let's take all of what was clever about putting that in Die Hard 3 and just make it Van Damme's twin brother, because
Okay.
we don't know who else to cast.
Alright, and also, I just have to mention now that I'm on the Wikipedia page for the Expendables, that Jean-Claude Van Damme's name in that movie, his character name is Gene Villan. He is
Wow.
Gene Villain. And Jet Li's character is named Yin Yang.
Yin yang.
Yin Yang,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
That's slightly less and slightly more racist than what you originally said. I can't tell.
Well, whatever.
Both.
It's really close. It's not.
Doesn't he, like-
It's not good.
Let's take out the racial slur and just make it very stereotypically offensive.
Doesn't he like fold origami and like send money back to his family like something ridiculous.
That sounds about right. Oh my god. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm just doing this over and over again. But I just went on the third movie's Wikipedia page, and I
Okay.
haven't watched it yet, so this is a surprise. Wesley Snipes' character in the third Expendables movie is named Doctor Death. Yes, yes.
So the Expendables is really just adult GI Joes. We have
Why not?
a Christmas, we have John Milan, and we have Doctor Death.
And
It's
Mel
just
Gibson's
G.I. Joes.
character's name is Conrad Stonebanks.
I like the fact that Kelsey Grammer is somehow in this movie, and his name is Bonaparte.
I hope
is
he
that
has a
real?
horrible French aspect throughout the horror thing.
I hope so.
Oh man.
Kelsey Grammer was also in Transformers 4.
Oh.
Harrison Ford is in it as Max Drummer.
Max. He drums to the max, man.
Oh, it's unbelievably awesome. The worse they make those movies, the better they are.
Yeah.
That's not true. Did you? Expendables 2 was not great, and neither was Machete 2, which both of them were like.
Yeah.
Well,
let's-
okay. Machete 2 was bad for a different reason, and that's an original IP, so I feel I could go into it for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Machete 2 was bad because if they didn't have that part at the beginning with the trailer for the third movie that told you exactly what was going to happen in the movie you were about to watch, then Machete 2 would have been a much better movie.
I have a question. Is
Either
Jason Statham is Jason Statham his own IP? Because every movie he does is the same movie.
I don't know. I didn't see Parker, which was Jason Statham doing a Jason Statham action movie, but it's a comedy.
But I mean, he did those. Like,
That's
every
not true.
movie he does.
Have
is
you
the same
seen
movie.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch?
Yeah, I
'Cause-
know, but look. We're trying to make the jokes here. We all know that Jason Statham's done 17 movies where he's a professional driver /
Yeah,
badass.
he was the
Yeah.
transporter, and he is in those movies,
And
and
Crank.
he's been in oh yeah, Crank.
Expendables.
When are we gonna
The
get our
Italian
third Crank
Job.
movie?
Yeah,
hopefully
Crank.
tomorrow.
Crank is
Well,
the
the Italian Job was a remake, so that doesn't count.
But I'm just saying, he's the same dude.
Well, would you really cast Jason Statham as anything else? I don't know if he could do it. Like,
Well, he's
in
not
those
that.
other movies I listed, he's still like the somewhat street, like intelligent,
That's
but
what he-
street spark, like thug businessman.
You understand that's what he is, right? Like, he's not an actor. He was just a street thug that that just became an actor because that was his life.
Yeah, and then that's what he does. He is Jason Statham.
perfect guy for the
He's
job.
put out a ton of movies.
He was
That
also in
Italian
Death
Job
Race.
Death
remake
Race.
would not. Oh yeah, that too. No,
You mean-
neither of those movies would have been made if he was not an actor. Like they just found a bunch of movies to remake because he was really good at being the transporter.
I don't dislike the Italian Job remake. They try
I
to
like
drive
that a
Mini
lot.
Coopers through a house in that movie, and that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
He's going to be in Fast and the Furious 7. He was in Parker, which I think was the same movie, right?
That's what I was talking. No, that was the one I told you. That was that movie, but a comedy.
But he's still the same. It's still the same thing, right? He's
Yeah.
still like a driving badass guy, but he's a comedy.
Basically, it's just everything he's done with Guy Ritchie is somewhat different, and then every other movie he's been in is the exact same thing.
What was the movie where he was guarding like a little small girl and he
The
was just the
first or
transporter?
second transporter, right?
First
No,
transporter.
there was a totally different movie that I was describing that wasn't a transporter movie.
Yeah, this came out like a year or two ago.
I totally forget. I have no idea what it was called, but
I don't know.
I remember the trailers
Safe,
for it or
maybe?
something.
Is it Safe? Yeah, it's Safe. Because I see in the picture
Oh,
it's
yeah,
him with the little girl.
Because all I can think of is Man Under Fire.
Let's see. Jason Statham, ex-cop and former cage fighter, who ends up protecting a gifted child who's being chased by the Russian mafia. The same movie every fucking time. Jason Statham is a giant badass and also some town ex-military police guy in movie. He drives cars and kills people.
At least Crank sort of has more gimmick to it with
I
the
love
adrenaline.
Crank.
And then
Those
the
movies
electricity
were-
stuff.
Remember when he was banging his girlfriend in front of the fucking tourist bus?
On the horse track?
Horse track.
Oh no, that's the sequel. The first one, it was in Chinatown.
In Chinatown in front of a bus of China, like school children.
Yes.
What a fucking messed up movie that was.
You know what? Fuck everyone who says it's awful. I really like the second Ghost Rider movie because it's full of dumb shit like that, just on a PG-13 level.
The Ghost Rider. I didn't see the second Ghost Rider.
I'm
It's-
trying to think. Is
It's
that,
that's
that's
the
the
one
one
where
with-
he gets in the giant piece of construction equipment and
Right,
turns it into
okay.
a Ghost Rider car, and it's great.
I watched most of that during my job watching TV, and yeah, that movie seemed all right.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it was better than the first one. Like the first one doesn't hold up more than once or twice, you know?
No, that
Oh.
movie's awful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's okay, but it's not.
It's not as bad as everyone says it is, but it's not good.
It's still
Right.
Nicolas Cage being a superhero. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I think
there's
Kick-Ass
so
can't
many
really do that.
superheroes Nicolas Cage could have been, because I know that's his dream. Why did he pick Ghost Rider? Like, that just doesn't fit to me.
who else?
I don't
would
know.
it be, though?
I didn't. What? I mean, he did. He did a better job in Kick-Ass of being a superhero.
Oh,
He
yeah,
did.
I don't.
That's
He
true.
did.
That sequel is terrible, but
That I don't know how they made that. How did? Oh man, that movie bummed me out because I really liked the first one, and then the second one was just sad.
yeah, well, it didn't have any balls. Like,
No, it had too many because it just kept saying really bad curses like, "Oh, I'm really hardcore, man. One of my characters' name is like fuck McGee."
yeah, but it wasn't like, I don't know, the comic it's based on was still way more. It didn't have the brutality. It just had swear words and immaturity.
Right, exactly. And it had like Jim Carrey being very stoic and not wild.
And then going out right before the movie came out and saying how terrible the movie is.
Yeah, he turns out he was right. Turns
Yeah.
out like maybe the director didn't know what to do with him. But you don't put him into a role where it's like, here, you're going to be the straight man. Then you get the majestic, and no one wants that.
You who played the mask are going to be the straight man.
Yeah, you're going to be the straight man patriot to the kid from The Social Network. Have fun.
That's not not the same person.
So is the Social
know.
Network in IP?
They look
No,
like
the social network. The social network was a book.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
And it's
B,
based
no,
on
no,
Facebook.
it is not. It's based on it. Do not make that argument right after I say no, it was a book. Do not say it was based on Facebook.
It is though.
That
They're
is
both
some-
based on Facebook.
That is that is a dangerous connection that you might be making there.
It's true life. It's like, you know. You can't,
But no,
you can't have an IP where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna make a movie about KFC, and now I can make a bunch of sequels about Colonel Sanders riding dinosaurs in the past or something.
Can we make that movie?
Well, I mean, sure we could. I don't think we'd get
I still
official permission.
is as surprisingly interesting Jurassic World is turning out to be. I still wish they would have made the fake Jurassic Park 4 script with the Velociraptors with jetpacks and machine guns. Because like, I want that movie. I want a movie with Velociraptors with jetpacks and machine guns because it just. Why don't we have that movie?
Why are they still making Jurassic Park movies, man?
Because
That first one was really good, but
Because they make lots of money. That's all.
they should have. I know.
That's the answer. I mean, if you want the answer, you ask the question. The answer is they make money. That's
Yeah.
the answer.
But they should have left it.
Yeah, Jurassic Park's probably like Rambo, where they should have left the original ending and had them die.
yeah,
Because if
Which
Rambo
one,
had died,
which one
it'd
did
be
he die in this? Whoa. That means we wouldn't have Rambo First Blood Part 2, which
Yeah,
is
like,
one
what
of
are
the
you doing?
finest films in the history of fucking mankind. So, invalid. Your opinion is invalid.
Are you equating the Rambo sequels to Jurassic Park 3?
Yes.
No,
But
that is
alright,
garbage.
Well,
Have
then
you
how-
watched Jurassic Park 3?
Have you ever seen Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2?
yes.
That
Alright.
movie is fucking fantastic.
I'll phrase it like this. If Rambo existed, Rambo First Blood existed, and Rambo First Blood Part 2 existed, but Rambo First Blood Part 2 was an alternate universe.
Ugh, just fucking stop it.
That's really dumb.
That's really dumb. We made one movie, but now he died. But we need to fucking completely We're gonna create a
Yeah.
whole new universe just for this fucking one movie. No.
If you
Yeah.
if you get that crazy about it, you end
You
up with
mean-
Highlander 2.
If
Or-
you
I
You
mean,
if you have to
overthink
go,
it a
this
little bit.
movie's so good that we need to create an alternate universe. You just don't kill off the guy in the first.
you mean
episode.
Crank? You mean how in each Crank movie he dies and then they make another one?
Well,
And
His
that-
eyes open. His eyes open at the end of the first one.
no,
That's,
he
Shit.
dies with his eyes open.
That's
How
more
do
of
you
a
know?
comedy, though.
Never know.
At the
Right.
end of the second movie, he's on fire in front of a water fountain, and he doesn't turn around and jump in.
He's just on fire screaming at the camera. That is how that movie ends. Him on fire standing next to the living corpse of the bad guy from the first movie who survives in a fish tank that he then killed, on fire and screaming. Like,
First, let me just say, this is not the intellectual property. This is just the action movie.
we'll get there.
Apparently.
There's stuff I want to talk about, but this is more interesting right now.
I
Let's
mean-
you let
I
the
mean-
conversation flow.
We probably should just make this the action movie one.
You want it? Fine. We'll make this the action movie one. I'm okay with this. Let's talk about action movies.
Die Hard. Which is the worst Die Hard?
Well, I
Fine.
still haven't seen the fifth one because I don't
That
really
is-
want to.
It's totally the. I saw it.
Die
Like,
Hard
I had a
4
reason
is
to go see it in theaters. It was awful.
Live Free or Die Hard is a fine movie. It does not stand up
agree.
to the other ones, but it is a fine. Yes, it is ridiculous, but it is incredibly fun, and that scene at the end when he shoots through himself to kill
Badass.
to
Super
kill
badass.
what's his face from Justified. It's fucking great, and that's what do you want on your tombstone? Yippee ki motherfucker! And he shoots himself.
No motherfucker though. Mother.
No.
I'm saying that's the one that they got, and then if you
Yeah.
watch the unrated version, he says it all the time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
And the unrated version is the real version of that.
You
movie.
mean because they shot the regular version and then they took out all the bad stuff.
Why don't they do that with the Expendables?
They
God
should
damn
do
it.
that. That's a good
They
fucking
should.
idea.
I don't know. They
They
did that
really
in
should.
They did that in the Wolverine, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all PG-13 movies should do that, because then you get a whole bunch of people that want to watch it again when they grow up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good idea. They need to do that because if you're putting that much money into a big budget film, just do a couple extra takes where he's saying "motherfucker" every 4 seconds.
You already
Who gives
got
a
all the
shit?
people there. Like
Yeah, exactly.
CGI
That's a
out all the
wonderful
blood for the
idea.
one version, and you're fine.
Absolutely. Well, you're gonna CG all the blood in anyway, so whatever.
That's how Expendables 2 was an R. They CG'd in all the blood because originally it was PG-13 because what was his name?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is an asshole who's Christian. He's like, I don't want to be in an R-rated movie. And then Stallone convinced him at the last minute, so they CG'd in a bunch of blood and heads coming off and everything.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, but they don't have an excuse for this one. Stallone's just trying to get money, man.
Doesn't Chuck Norris murder 1,000 people in his own movies?
Yeah, Christians are dumb.
Oh, wonderful.
I just remember I remember getting into a giant argument with Craig when he still wrote for us about Die Hard, and him saying Die Hard 1 and 2 are brilliant, and then 3 wasn't as good. And my argument was no, it's 1 and 3 are brilliant, and 2 is okay, and because 2 is just Die Hard again, but in an airport. And Craig thought that Die Hard again in an airport was a better Die Hard sequel because it was the same formula again. And I don't know. I want Samuel L. Jackson running around New York with trying to solve that stupid water puzzle in a fountain in the middle of New York City.
I want to talk about how great Harrison Ford was as the president on an airplane, beating up bad guys in Air Force One.
Yep.
What a fucking ridiculous movie that is. Has there ever been another movie where the leader of a country is like such a badass that he takes on terrorists himself?
Jamie Foxx gets a couple badass moments in White House Down, which is that everyone said that movie sucked. No, fuck them. White House Down was beautiful. It was stupidly patriotic.
That has Jamie Foxx being the president of the United States firing an RPG on the White House lawn.
Yeah, that movie ends with a little girl waving an American flag on the lawn of the White House to stop a missile strike.
America, right there.
Yes.
America.
It is the most stupidly patriotic ending ever, and it was beautiful.
That's pretty fantastic. The movie poster is fantastic. From the maker of Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, in 2012. What a
Why
horse
put
shit.
that on there?
Why would you
put
ever
that
put?
on?
Oh yeah, that movie everyone hated. Yeah, that movie. We totally.
2012
that movie.
sucks.
That movie was fucking. That's an action movie that was dog shit. I guess it was a disaster movie too, but ugh.
I didn't
What a
watch it. If
fucking
they ever
piece
do a
of-
riff tracks of it, I will watch 2012. But I have no reason to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage not great at the action movie. Well, do we? I'm trying to
Hey,
think.
Face Off is fucking great.
Which one?
Yeah.
Face Off.
And also, I'm
Oh.
gonna put in a vote for Drive Angry here.
I've never seen Drive Angry.
I haven't seen the whole movie, but I liked what I saw. But it's
Yeah.
it's a stupid action movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's really dumb, but it's a good. That's what you want though, because when Nicolas Cage is in a good movie, he's like crazy anyway. So the only way that makes sense is if the whole movie is really dumb.
Did anyone else see Escape Plan? That movie starring old Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, where they're in
Yes.
the super prison.
Yes, I did.
Super Prison.
They're in a super. Oh, you want to talk about great action movies? I finally saw
Con
Space
Air?
Jail recently.
Space Jam?
What is that movie actually called?
I don't
Lockout,
know.
right? Yeah, Lockout.
Sure,
With,
whatever.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
with
It's
Guy
Space Jam.
Pearce, where it's a little space jail where the president's daughter gets stranded on the super maximum prison in space. It's Escape from New York, but in space.
It's fantastic. I love when they do that. Like, how great was Con Air? How great is a movie where we have a plane with all the fucking worst criminals in the history of mankind, and magically they're breaking out of jail, the flying jail. What a fucking. And then they murder like 6 million people in Las Vegas because they bring down a 747 in the middle of Vegas Strip for no reason. None.
It was pretty explosions. Do not discount the prettiness of
Yeah,
explosions.
That's
I
a
think-
very good reason.
I think the best part of that whole movie is like oh, by the way, Nicolas Cage, you're such a good fighter that even though you're defending like yourself, we're gonna put you in jail for punching someone too hard. You're going to jail for 7 years because your hands are a deadly weapon. What the fuck are you talking about? Amazing. I love bad premises. It's so great. So there you go. Nicolas Cage is great in Con Air. I'm sorry.
Since Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out, can we talk about Jason Statham for a bit? Or not Jason Statham, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, yeah.
Wait.
Vin Diesel's great. I love Vin
What?
Diesel. He loves Dungeons and Dragons, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I really wish I listened to Nerd Poker, Brian Posehn's Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and they had a campaign to get him on there, which he never did, which makes me sad because I want to hear Vin
What's this?
Diesel.
I've never heard of this podcast. What's it called?
You know who Brian Posehn
Of
is,
course
right?
I do.
The
He's
comedian.
fucking metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking metal.
Yeah, he literally is fucking metal. He has a podcast called Nerd Poker where him and a bunch of his comedian friends play Dungeons and Dragons, and
I'll
it is
fucking
fantastic.
download the shit out of that. Nice.
It is fucking fantastic. It's Brian Posehn and Jerry Duggan, who also writes Deadpool, and a bunch of people you've never heard of.
That's fine. I don't give a shit. As long as Brian Posehn's doing fucking great jokes and being a wizard or some shit.
He's
That's
a
fantastic.
fighter,
Of course he
or
is.
he's a barbarian named Amarthamon, who is super dumb.
Nerd. Oh, I'm putting that. I'm looking for it right now. Let's see what we got. That's fantastic. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, I have something new to watch, listen to. Okay, so other action movies that are great.
Well, let's start off by talking about Fast and Furious.
They're on 8 now, right? They're making 8.
7. They're on 7.
They're on 7.
That's the one that Paul Walker died during the filming of.
The Fast and the Furious movies are really good, and they have no right to be good. They shouldn't be entertaining.
Well, no.
They had a turn.
They were okay, and then they were bad, and then they were okay, and then they got fucking amazing.
I mean,
4 was
Tokyo
okay.
Drift was early on in there. So.
See, I still haven't seen Tokyo Drift because I have been I knew.
Are you watching them in chronological order?
Well, I saw the first one and I liked it. I saw the second one and I liked it, and I heard Tokyo Drift was terrible, so I didn't watch it. And then 4 came out, and I was like, okay, this is okay. I still don't give a shit enough to watch Tokyo Drift. And then 5 and 6 happened. I'm like, wow, these are really good, but I can't watch Tokyo Drift because it takes place now after 6. And I have just been waiting to plan a day where I invite people over to my apartment and we watch all 6 in chronological order, and it hasn't happened yet, so I still have not seen.
When are
Tokyo
we doing that? Because I have to be a part of that.
I will. We will plan it, and I will let you know. But it has been on my to-do list for like 6 months. But yeah, with 5 and 6, those movies got unbelievably good, like undeservedly good.
Those are the ones they filmed back to back, right?
Yeah, they got it. So that switch finally flipped, and like, oh, if we're gonna make these movies, we can basically just make parodies of these movies and take it seriously in the movie.
We don't really have to be about street racing anymore, do we?
We can drive a safe through crowded city streets.
Yeah, it's all good. Whatever, guys. It's as long as we got Vin Diesel being Vin Diesel-y.
We can launch Michelle Rodriguez off of a tank on a crazy suspended highway on a cliff, and have Vin Diesel jump out of a car and catch her in midair.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I don't know, Christian. What are your thoughts on the Fast and the Furious movies?
I actually haven't watched any of them besides the first one, so now I.
Oh my God! You have to see 5 and 6. You have to watch them all now because
watch them all.
Because 5 and 6 got weirdly specific, tying back, like it made them a cohesive franchise, which they didn't give a fuck about until then.
And even if they didn't, you have to experience the downturn in order to get to the joy.
Right. Because I saw the first one and I was just like, I don't really like racing movies.
If you wanted that, you'd watch Torque, the movie where they joust motorcycles.
Yes. Yes, they do.
How great is Vin Diesel in that role? Like, he is so wonderful as that guy. It's fantastic.
What the fuck is Dom? His name is Dom.
Yes. He's just
That's the guy from Gears of War, right?
Just about. I mean, it's basically the same thing. He's just that. I gotta say, that first movie. I've seen that first movie a ton of times, and man, it's not a good fucking movie. Which has no reason to be good.
It's about family.
It's about family. My dad died once. He was in jail, or maybe I was in jail. I don't remember the plot of this fucking movie anymore. But my car has awesome lights on it. We take the license plates off and steal things from fucking motorcycle gangs or something.
We ripped off a truck full of DVD players. We are hard criminals.
Like nowadays, that would be like $6,000 of this stuff. I guess back when they made it, a DVD player was still $200. Oh my God, he stole DVD players. It's like stealing the fucking. It's like stealing a supercomputer. It's amazing.
Hey guys, we tricked them. They finally stole those damn DVD players. We
Can't get rid of. They just open
now
up
they're
like
somebody else's problem.
Yeah. But between Vin Diesel and his hard ass crew stealing DVD players, to in the 6th movie where Vin Diesel and his crew are international outlaws that are approached by a coalition of the United States government and Interpol because they are the only drivers bad enough to catch thieves using crazy driving techniques and stealing WMD material.
Well, yeah, because Interpol heard about their DVD player racket.
But that was after the movie where they drove a safe through a town, where they had 2 outfitted sports cars that they attached tow cables to a safe and literally dragged it out of a building and through a city.
Let's talk about the problem with Fast and the Furious, and that's how many douchebags got like shitty.
Think
cars.
it's serious?
No. Got shitty cars and then had to put lights and fucking rims and all that shit on them. That's the problem with Fast and Furious. The movies are great. The culture it created around street racing and pimping your car sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's not as bad as it used to be, because, man, it used to be really bad. Everyone getting Civics and body kits. But that didn't happen before Fast and the Furious came out. And it's like, man, I'm going to put neon lights on the bottom of my 1987 Civic hatchback, and it's gonna be badass. And then I'm gonna be a total fucking womanizer. It's gonna be awesome.
When you're walking through the mall parking lot and you see a guy trying to glue a spoiler onto the back of his car, yeah, it's
Fast and Furious. You just want to be like, Vin Diesel, what'd you do to us? It just proves in life there must be balance. For every awesomeness that is a Fast and the Furious movie, there's a douchebag with a glued-on spoiler.
Yep.
So we have the racing movie. We have a bunch of what other act. Is there a genre of action movie we're missing? We have obviously lots and lots of guns, and we have lots and lots of driving. Is there another type of action movie we're missing?
Should we get into like martial arts?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we talked a little bit about The Raid, which since this has become the action movie podcast, I think we might need to talk a little bit more about The Raid.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
for the
mention
the other
the
half
greatest
of this,
American martial arts movie of our time.
yeah, for the other half of this podcast that has not seen The Raid yet, you really fucking need to watch The Raid.
I'll check.
Yeah,
Is this on Netflix? Or do I have
No,
to-
no, it's like a foreign movie. You gotta go to
I
one of
know
those
where to
fancy
get
places
in.
and stick your pinky out.
like Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, that's how that thing works. Yeah, you got it.
But-
Yeah. Okay.
But no, it is like it gets both it and Dread get unfairly called out for being the exact same goddamn movie because they are both about storming a building that is an apartment complex
Why
because
is
there's
that-
a crime boss in the top, but they were developed at the same time. It
Yeah.
was like people say Armageddon and Deep Impact are the same movie. To be fair, they are, except Armageddon is better.
Well, why
But-
is that a bad thing?
It's not. They were just that. This was. They were both. They were not. They didn't copy each other. They both just happened to. It's not an original idea.
Wait, what were
like
the two movies again? The Raid and what?
Dread 3D. The
What?
Judge Dredd
Judge
movie
Dredd?
that just came out.
How is that's all Judge Dredd was a bunch of fucking like that was the whole city was just made of buildings. That's like the whole point of Judge Dredd. Is there mega city?
Well, yeah, but
with
it's
giant
literally.
buildings?
I know, but this is literally just like this is an apartment complex filled with criminals, and the bad guys at the top. You got to work your way up there. Except the difference is, it's Judge Dredd. It's Judge Dredd and Lena Headey, and the Raid is an entire SWAT team that gets whittled down really fast.
So is it all martial arts? Are they not fighting with guns?
No, the first half hour is all gunfights, and then it turns out into like the most. It's a little bit ridiculous, but it is so fucking brutal. It doesn't feel like super choreographed martial arts. It looks like somebody who trained how to fight with that style, brutally murdering people.
I mean, I'm all for. I don't like torture movies. Like, I'm not big on the Saw movies, but if like I don't mind just like righteous violence, like
Whoa, now
Yeah.
Saw, the first movie,
torture porn.
is amazing. It's not
It's
torture porn at
totally-
all.
Come on now.
It is
Does
a
he have to cut off his own arm?
I mean,
He
it's
has
not
to cut off his
hostile.
own leg, and they
but
don't
it's
even
all-
they don't show it. They show him like
Torture porn.
reacting, but they don't. It's not torture porn. The first Saw is amazing. The rest of them are totally torture porn, but the first one is not. It's a really good movie.
Saw is a slasher movie that is grosser than most slasher movies. That's all that
The
is.
first one isn't that gross. Like, it really isn't. They get like that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like
That's
dark.
like saying Friday the 13th is all about zombies and shit. Yeah, but the first one wasn't. It still wasn't that great. It's not a
Wait.
great example, I'll
Wait,
admit
wait,
it.
wait. What are you saying about Friday the 13th?
The first Friday the 13th is about Jason's mom killing
Yeah, I
people
know.
out of revenge.
Right.
And then it turns into ridiculous. It like becomes all about Jason rising from the grave and murdering
Yes.
people. Whereas like and just like the first Saw movie is about these two guys having to deal with this one thing, and it's really intense, and there's like no violence. And
Oh,
then
great.
it devolves into let's show a bunch of people getting ripped apart. Like,
That's what I want in my action movies.
I
Yeah.
like the Saw movies. I like the rest of them. They're fucking ridiculous, but
I like
do
like the
not
first
insult.
3 or so. I couldn't really keep up after that.
They got stupid after that, and I can enjoy that in a way.
Yeah, see, I like my violence in movies to be good guy versus bad guy, not
Like the
bad guy
Expendables.
versus yes, as opposed to like bad guy versus innocent person, like slasher movies.
What's like the end of District 9?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I
in a
guess.
When his alien weapon gun makes people like pop like water balloons, and I laughed every time it happened because
Yeah,
it was
hilarious.
just so ridiculous.
I gotta
in a
say,
good-
District 9 was good. I like District 9 a
District
lot.
9 was
Yeah.
fantastic.
That was a fucking weird ass movie. It was in a good setting.
I still kind of wish that guy would have just made the Halo movie, but
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, it's
apparently
alright.
the only person in the world who liked Elysium, but I like that too. His follow up.
I have one friend who liked Elysium, if that says anything.
So I'm
Yeah.
looking here at Wikipedia. The action film has a number of subgenres. We've gone through a bunch of them. We haven't really done action comedy yet, but we did do action horror. We've done disaster films a little bit.
Can we
We talked
talk
about-
about 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street for the action comedy?
We certainly can.
Why
Those
are
are
you
big
sighing?
I don't know.
Those movies are fucking amazing.
Sure, they are great.
The bad guy in the first one gets his
Yep.
dick shot off,
He does.
Haha! Hilarious.
and then he has to pick it up.
Yes.
That sounds like a bad fucking day.
And then in the sequel, they give him a vagina.
They give him?
Well, like
Like
they,
by
so
force?
they couldn't sew his dick
Fuck
back
you, you
on.
get a vagina now, bitch.
Yeah, they couldn't sew his dick back on, so he had to make it into a vagina.
That seems reasonable. Obviously. Did he get his nuts cut off too? Like, I
No.
don't understand. So does he have nuts and a vagina?
No, well, that's what they turned into the vagina. That,
Oh, okay.
let's not talk about the house.
No, please. Let's keep going.
No, let's.
Let's continue the transsexual torsion of our podcast.
Get
That's like a
medical
forced
doctor.
transsexual. Forced transsexual. What?
No,
Hey,
the,
fuck
the,
his
the
dick,
20
it had to
the
be
21
over.
Jump Street series of movies. It's definitely more comedy than it is action movie, but the action in it is really good. And
Someone just stop listening to this podcast
why?
because now he has to go find some porn.
Oh,
That's
here
what
we
we've
go.
done.
That's what we've
Man, I
done.
need some transsexual pornography. Let's do this.
Yeah. Someone's found out he has a really weird fetish just now. Thanks, guys.
Anyway, so wow. So yeah, we have the action comedy, which I haven't seen, the 21 Jump Street. That was an old movie that came back.
It was an old TV show that they, a serious dramatic TV show that they remade into a comedy, written and directed by the people who did Clone High and the Lego Movie.
Lego Movie was an action movie.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
children's action movie, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get there are not that many. I guess there are a lot of children's action movies, but they're all animated. I guess.
Did you want
Like
to
the-
talk more about the action comedy though? Because there's like Lethal Weapon,
Pineapple
Beverly
Express.
Hills Cop, Bad
Pineapple
Boys,
Express
Pineapple
was
Express.
great.
Yeah, there were. Those are weird because those almost are. I always think of those as buddy cop movies too. Like what's
most
the
of them.
Jackie Chan in
Okay, well, the best
Chris
action
Tucker.
comedy,
Rush Hour. There we go.
Hot Fuzz.
Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, man. The Last Action Hero is fucking great, but no, Hot Fuzz is my favorite.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because Edgar Wright's like the best zombie movie is Shaun of the Dead, because Edgar Wright not only knew how to make fun of zombie movies, but make a really fucking good zombie movie. The same thing happened with his action movie. Like
I
that
still like Zombieland,
Zombieland's
love that
fucking
movie.
great. Yeah.
which is also an action comedy
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, it is.
I think I like personally like Zombieland more than I like Shaun of the Dead. I know, but I love that movie because it just has the weirdest shit. It's
I-
just so surreal that I
You
love
know,
it.
Shaun of the Dead is a much better movie, but I might enjoy Zombieland more as well.
Yeah, I only look
Because
it up.
it's
I only
more
like
fun.
what I
Like
love.
Shaun of the Dead gets really serious at the end
Yeah.
because it fucking earns it.
Yeah,
but-
it does.
But Zombieland's great. Zombieland with Bill Murray is fucking great.
Yep. And just like, oh yeah, we're in a music part now, and I guess we have to murder all the zombies, and then we'll be fine. Everything's cool at the end. Happy ending. Credits.
Except they killed Bill Murray.
Well, you know, they still get to party with Bill Murray a little bit. He gets to say
Yeah.
the story.
And they weren't gonna bring it back for a sequel or anything, so
And we got to hear
Yeah.
Bill Murray. I think that when Bill Murray said that his biggest regret was Garfield, I think that was an improvised line. I don't think
And
he
it
was
was
scripted to say
fucking
that.
beautiful.
Brilliant.
Oh
Wait,
man.
do you know the story behind Garfield, right?
I did
Yeah,
not.
I love that story. That's a great
Uh,
story.
Was,
Bill Murray was handed a script for the script for Garfield with the name
Joel Cohen.
Joel Cohen, and he thought it was Joel Cohen of Joel and Ethan Cohen, the Cohen
No.
brothers, but it was Cohen with an H, like
that's great.
Cohen.
Oh.
And somehow he did the sequel too.
Yeah, he did the sequel as well.
That's
Probably
my
'cause they just
favorite
gave him
part of
money.
it. Like after all that bullshit, he just did the sequel as well.
After I grew up watching the Garfield and Friends cartoon show from like the 80s.
Yeah,
And
but,
to me, Lorenzo Music is the voice of Garfield, so it was even worse for me.
but that
Because
was
I'm like,
but
that's
see,
not the same voice.
Garfield or Bill Murray had to do the Garfield movies, so it would forever cement the connection that Lorenzo Music played Garfield and Venkman in the Ghostbusters and Garfield cartoons, and Bill Murray played Garfield and Bankman in the live-action movies, because
Yeah.
that is a stupid connection that we should have in this universe.
There it
Yep.
is. Rest in peace, Lorenzo Music. You fine voice actor, you. So we talked about. We have not talked about the spy film.
Spy.
Which is obviously James Bond, and then I guess also Triple X, True
Triple
Lies.
X, hey, okay,
I like
Triple X
Triple X
is
a
not
lot.
a spy movie. It is great.
Yeah,
You know they're
yeah.
making a third one, right? They are in.
Yep.
Who's gonna be in that one?
Vin Diesel is coming back.
Oh, good. I'm
It's
so
not
glad.
going to be Ice Cube.
They didn't get. Oh,
No, it
really?
was DMX, right? Was it Ice Cube?
I
It
don't
was
know.
DMX. I think it was DMX.
He's. Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
No, by the way, that movie Triple X was directed by Rob Cohen with an H. Look at these fucking
Yeah, man.
interweaving this
It's-
shit.
No, I'm
Vin
not going to
Diesel was
get into
confused as well.
conspiracy theories.
They roped him in.
It
That's
was
why
Ice
they did the
Cube,
second
by the
one.
way. It was Ice Cube.
It was Ice
Triple X
Cube.
2 State of the Union with rapper Ice Cube.
Was that before or after he did the movie with the children in the back? I
I think it was after. No, wait. I don't know.
hope it was after, because that makes that movie even more funny to me.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. No. The Triple X movie. Because if.
Oh, well, I know, but
trying
that's
to portray
that's
him as a serious action star after he's done that movie.
No, but Are We There Yet's the movie that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The
It's
one with
like
the
how
kids.
Vin Diesel had to stop doing movies for a while after he starred aside a duck in that Disney movie.
What duck was he in?
It's The Pacifier.
I saw that movie. Not the worst movie I've ever seen.
It was at least he wasn't the Tooth Fairy like The Rock was.
Yeah.
You gotta pay the bill sometime, brother. Sometimes
The Rock.
sometimes the mortgage comes up and you gotta buy a new house.
Did you
The
guys
Rock
know
is-
they made a Tooth Fairy sequel?
Yeah,
With
No.
the cable guy.
yeah, of course.
Speaking of The Rock, we need to talk about some of The Rock's. Can we talk about the G.I. Joe
Scorpion King.
movies?
Oh, I want to talk Scorpion King. We're gonna talk rock movies.
The Scorpion King, aka, even though I love the other ones, the best Mummy movie.
Oh, not even a question.
Because it is.
Not even a question.
Didn't
That
we
movie's
talked about this?
amazing.
We talked about this the other day on the
Brendan
podcast.
Fraser, but without Brendan Fraser? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think we
exactly.
talked about this, but it took me forever to see the Scorpion King because that part of the Mummy 2 is terrible.
It is.
And I had heard the Scorpion King wasn't that good. And the only people I knew that said it was good,
Those
I
people were
didn't trust
idiots.
them. Yeah, I didn't trust the people who said it was good. And then I finally saw it, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It's fucking what a great action movie that is. That movie is fucking brilliant.
That's how you do a historical type action movie. Like, they're usually too serious. Why can't we have fun action movies in ancient times? They're great. Like, it wasn't as, well, I mean, it was simultaneously better and worse than the original, but I like the remake of Clash of the Titans.
I actually do too.
Wrath of the
Fun.
Titans was totally forgettable.
300
Clash
was
was
great.
fun.
I love 300. That's obviously a remake of a comic book, but it's still.
Well, we're
it's
talking
still-
about action movies, remember?
Yeah.
We switched
Yeah, well,
topics.
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying it was still like it still wasn't even like an actual historical movie, but it was kind of. We're talking
Yeah,
about historical. It's kind of historical,
I heard
but
the prequel was really good actually.
I heard it was the worst thing that's ever happened
Really?
for mankind.
All those,
Interesting.
you know why I don't like that Clash of the Titans movie?
Why?
Because they make fun of that owl in that one scene. That was enough for me to turn on the whole movie. Because I was watching that movie in theaters in horrible 3D, and I was just bored out of my mind sitting there watching it. And then he pulled out the owl, and I was like, "Oh, that's great!" And then the guy's like, "Oh, that's a piece of junk," and he throws it away, and I'm like, "God damn it! Why do you kill my joy, horrible movie with the Australian guy?"
Oh, the Australian guy. Let's talk about. Can we talk about Crocodile Dundee being an action movie? There you go. That was kind of. Was that an action movie? He had a knife. There was a knife fight at some point.
I've never seen that movie.
I actually that is something that I am sorely missing as well. I never
Yeah, I
saw
know.
any of the Crocodile Dundee.
I don't really have the desire to see it either. I kind of
It's
get
a
the
movie
trend.
I feel like I should see, but yeah, I don't.
I think you saw it already.
I
think
know
you know.
that
I
that's
think
not a
culture has taught you all you need to know about Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, pretty much. I know. Yeah, that's not a knife. And,
Just go
and
watch
I'm
the
good.
sequel.
I'm good.
It's this weird fish out of water. Like people in the '80s had no idea what Australia was like, and now we did.
Yeah, it was in that weird period where Australia became really big in America, and then we stopped giving a shit about
The
Australia.
birth of Outback.
Was this before or after Kangaroo Jack?
Way before.
Way
The
before.
mid '80s. The mid '80s had a couple. Had like an Australian phase. It was like a Yahoo Serious Movies, which was Young Einstein and something else, and then there was the Crocodile Dundee movies. Then yeah, so those were movies, and then there were also action movies we could continue talking about. We have not. What parts haven't we talked about in the wonderful world of action movies?
Should we talk about Scott Pilgrim?
Oh,
That's a great action movie. That's
That is a
that's a comic
great-
action movie.
the best.
Yes. Yes, it is. And then we can get into the superhero movies because we have not and we still before we do that we still need to go back to Spies, but let's talk about Scott Pilgrim first because I am a giant fanboy of Brian Lee O'Malley's work. Like I got into the first 3 volumes of Scott Pilgrim, like that's where I started, and then I followed them as they came out after that. And like I bought his recent book Seconds just came out and I fucking loved that. I bought it and loved that as well. So I was like that movie came out when I was in college and I literally spent an entire class period one day watching the trailer on loop because I could not wait for that movie.
The one thing that movie didn't have for me, there's actually something to me really sad about the comic. Like, there's like a really like sad portion of that comic, and they didn't put that in.
The 5th book ends in a terribly depressing and like a really like narratively fascinating and quality place, but very depressing place.
Yeah, I was actually depressed when I read that.
And
was
half of the last book is about Scott Pilgrim being depressed and not being able to get on with his life and like fucking up everything.
Man, I've only read the first 2 volumes. I need to finish it.
Yeah, that is one of the few like adaptations where the movie stands on par with the books, and they're both good for being slightly different in their own ways.
This
And
is
the
more
movie is
like,
great.
This is more like video game, but also the game is really awesome.
Oh yeah, the
It
game
is.
is fantastic.
The game is just River City Ransom, which is a great
Yeah.
game. Yeah, they remade River City Ransom with Scott Pilgrim characters, and I'm okay with this. It's perfect. Exactly
Well,
what it should
I
be.
don't know why we don't get more $10 downloadable movie tie-in games that are really good.
Because they know they can make money if they make a $10 million.
Really,
and sell
because
it for
they
60.
made a downloadable Expendables game that was garbage. They
What do
made
you
a
mean?
fucking down. Shut up, Alex. I can hear you trying not to laugh. But and then for those who do you remember,
I did not say once that Scott Pilgrim was a piece of garbage like I was trying to. I let you guys talk.
no one cares about that opinion.
I know.
But
I've figured that out.
if you want to, do you remember Battle LA? Because they made that into a downloadable game as well.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Do you remember Battle LA? No one
I own
else
that game
does.
No one does. It was out for like 2 weeks, right? And they just fucking took it out of the
I
theaters.
thought it was a fine, stupid action movie.
I thought
Like,
I enjoyed the Asylum version of that movie, which was called Battle of L.A. It starred Kel Mitchell.
You gotta have a hook. See, the one thing with action movies, I think we can all agree, you have to have a hook. You don't have to have a story. You just have to have a hook. And if you have a good hook, like The Expendables is, every fucking action star ever. That's your hook. Jason Statham is fucking badass. That's your hook. Like racing is, you have to have one hook. If you can get that one thing that people really enjoy, they will suspend disbelief for however bad your storytelling is, which we all, let's be honest, is usually pretty bad. So when you have something like Scott Pilgrim that has amazing storytelling along with good action, you got a good fucking movie.
Yeah, sure.
And you have Beck. You can't go wrong.
Beck?
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
what was that? What was that alien invasion movie that Donald Faison was in?
Oh, wait. I know what that is.
I'm
That's
looking this up.
that's the one that's 90% just dudes in an apartment screaming at each other, right?
Yes, it's Skyline.
Yeah, they couldn't afford all the CGI that they wanted, so they just filmed they accidentally filmed a remake of what's it called?
The Room.
Cloverfield. Cloverfield.
Wow.
But,
yeah, I remember something about that movie, and then I don't remember hearing anything about.
Yeah, there's a good reason. The only reason I heard about it again was because I listened to bad movie podcasts.
Well, did they ever talk about that action movie that came out recently that was all about like marketing and like viral advertisements that were like
that.
turning into like monsters and stuff,
saw
and it was
that.
like,
Branded.
was it good? What was it called?
It's
Brand?
branded. It is the weirdest movie. It goes
In a good
places
way?
like
In an interesting way.
it's like half good and half bad, and it's like there's so much disconnect. But he like sacrifices a blue cow and then bathes in the blood so that he can see.
What?
advertising.
What? Why have I not seen this movie? We should literally have a podcast in like 6 months because we can't do another one of those soon. Where we all just we all just come to the table with a pile of these of just what the fuck? Why have I not seen that movies where we can describe the plots like that?
I will definitely partake in that.
Or we'll make a game show out of it, and I'll get a list of real plots and made up plots, and I'll ask. And you'll have to figure out why have you not seen that movie? Your own ignorance or it's fucking bullshit. But
I don't know.
let's talk about spy movies before we have to go, and superhero movies before we have to go. The James Bond movies have all like that is a storied franchise, and the new ones are fantastic, and I cannot wait for the fourth Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
I love how storied that franchise is, considering that one of the movies has them going to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a stupid. All those movies are kind of dumb in
Yeah,
a refined way. I think we've all just been tricked because they're all British.
I love that it's a storied franchise and one of them is titled Octopussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Except, yeah, but see, that's what it eventually devolved into that. Like, that's what the Pierce Brosnan movie became, was just
No, it was always like that.
The thing is with James Bond, the reason why those movies are fun is because he is what everyone wants to be. He's a suave motherfucker who can kill anyone he wants. He gets every girl. He is everyone's like, if you could just be one guy, being James Bond seems like it would be rad. I'm going to get drunk and gamble and fuck hot girls, and I'm going to murder 50 people, and I'm going to be the hero of everyone forever. And I can do whatever I want. I literally have a license to murder people, and no one can stop me. He can just go around shooting people in the face, and they can't arrest him. Like, I have a license to do this, bitch. What are you going to do? Don't talk to me. Don't cut me off in traffic. I'm just going to shoot you. Who doesn't want to be that guy?
I want to see that James Bond movie now.
Who doesn't? Fucking greatest movie ever.
James Bond Vacation.
James Bond is sick of your shit, and he just goes around murdering people for being assholes. There you go. There's the new movie. James Bond just kills regular people that piss you off.
James Bond is the Punisher.
Exactly. James Bond is the minor annoyance Punisher. You're taking too long at self-checkout. Boom. Shot in the face.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm trying to.
So James Bond and Triple X and True Lies, and then they make a bunch of bad spy movies. And Austin Powers, which is a comedy spy action movie.
It doesn't.
There's not that much action in Austin
Oh,
Powers.
come
And
on.
it doesn't really hold up that well.
No,
No,
it does
no,
not.
no. That movie did not age well. None of those
No.
movies did.
Good. I'm glad. I thought we were gonna get into an argument about that. I'm glad that we're on the
No.
same page here.
Because that's
They're
like,
fun for nostalgia purposes, but like that movie just doesn't hold up well.
I heard there was a crack podcast about this.
There
Where
was.
it's
I love Cracks is the best.
Yeah, well, they just mentioned this in part of one of their podcasts. I forget which one, but it was because Austin Powers is like one of the first movies to actually not gain from the modern information age that we live in, because all those movies' jokes were circulated so
that's
much
it.
so
Yep.
fast
Yep.
that we can't say, like, Borat is the same way. Borat is a great movie, but man, you can't watch that movie over and over again like you can Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I just say, my wife, it's not funny. It's just kind of really dumb now.
Well, it is
Because
when you say it like
everyone's
that.
done that.
Yeah.
Memes aren't funny anymore. And those movies just kind of become memes instead of funny movies.
We're never funny. Memes have always been a way for people that aren't funny to try and tell jokes that will resonate with people.
I don't know, man. I thought
I
Rickroll
think
was
they
pretty funny
talked
for
about-
the time.
At the Crack
Rick Roll
podcast
was
was
really
talking about
funny because it was fucking with people, and then
Right.
it was no one had it. You can only fuck with people the same way so many times.
And I could still probably watch that Russian guy singing and I would laugh too.
Trololo. He died, you
Yeah.
know.
Aw.
Rest in
Well,
peace, that guy.
that's a goddamn shame. He was a national treasure
He
for
was.
Russia.
For Russia.
Right there with Vladimir Putin and Rusev.
Okay, so superhero movies. All the DC movies are terrible except a couple Batmans. Most of the Marvel movies are good, except for Elektra and Daredevil. And then
The
and a
director's
couple
cut of
others.
Daredevil, not bad.
Yep.
Well,
pretty
I'm sure
good.
it's probably better. It has to be better than the fucking movie theatrical release.
Yeah, it is for
Give me a good
100%.
reason. Give me a good reason why there are any good DC movies besides Batman. Anyone have anything?
Can we narrow that down to the Christopher Nolan Batman movies?
Sure.
Okay, then no, I will not.
Wait,
give you
Maybe
reason.
the first one. Maybe the Tim Burton one.
what
Nope,
was
the
Sin,
first.
what was Sin City? Wasn't that
Sin
DC?
City is
That's independent.
yeah, it's Dark Horse or something.
Dark Horse.
I think.
There
Those
was
movies are great.
wait, V for Vendetta.
Was that a Vertigo book?
That
Okay.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
We're talking DC
No, it's
main
fine.
universe
It's the
books.
same thing.
Fine. Nope, that's fair enough. DC, if you put out the movie, it's your comic book license. You get it. They've made.
I throw Watchmen in there too, but I like Watchmen.
I
No
love
one else
Watchmen
likes
too. No,
I
I
thought
love
Watchmen's fine.
Oh, shit. Watchmen's great. I love that fucking movie.
You were good. I feel like we've done this before, but you were good people.
Yeah. Yeah. So Marvel is a movie making machine,
Right.
and they are just Guardians of the Galaxy is going to kick ass. It's going to be the funny Avengers.
Yep.
And it's going to
And
make
the Avengers was already funny.
And then next year, DC is gonna release grimdark Batman, Superman, hanging out with Wonder Woman.
Yep.
That Wonder Woman costume is fucking terrible.
I almost just want to go see it just to I want to revel in the sadness. I want to revel in how bad it is and how Marvel could make a movie about a talking raccoon with a gun, and that's amazing. And they can't make a movie about Batman.
Because Marvel understands that we're making superhero movies. Batman is the only superhero that can be dark and gritty that isn't about brutally murdering people.
Right.
So
Yeah. Like the thing is, Marvel gets either they hire the best people or they create the best people. Because I don't know who I didn't know who some of the superheroes were before they became superheroes.
well, everyone was someone except for Chris Hemsworth.
No, Chris Hemsworth was Captain America someone?
Captain America was the Human Torch.
Oh,
Was he?
right. He was.
Captain America.
Okay, I need to amend. Those Fantastic Four movies were shit.
They were.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marvel makes bad Fantastic Four movies, Daredevil and Elektra. Theatrical release of Daredevil, I guess.
Basically,
Chris
most
Evans
of the
was
Fox
in it.
Marvel movies are bad.
Yes, most of the Fox Marvel movies are shit.
Chris Evans was
Yeah.
in a ton of movies before he was Captain America, and Chris Hemsworth was not.
Oh, you're right. See, I think of him completely different. He looks so different between Johnny Storm and Captain America. Like, I don't even consider that the same dude.
He's also brilliant in Scott Pilgrim, because for what little he's in.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You're right. They hire great people, and those people do great work. And Robert Downey Jr. was the greatest move they ever did.
Yep.
Because he is the perfect Tony Stark, and he makes everything he's in awesome. It's going to be the saddest moment of my day will be the last time he's in a Marvel movie.
And if you want to see Marvel's genius moves, I mean, they get Edward Norton to play the Hulk in the first Hulk movie. Well, the first second with the first Marvel cinematic Hulk movie. 'Cause they're going to make another one, and it's fantastic. But he wants too much control, and as much Edward Norton's one of my favorite actors, but I don't think he would work well in the Avengers, like with that group.
Sure.
But sorry, there's like feedback.
Oh no.
But
I thought it was me.
it is you, I think.
Awesome. Good for me.
Is your cell phone near any of your recording equipment?
Oh yeah, no, it isn't. Sorry about that. I didn't know that still happened.
Yeah, it still happens. But then they replace him with Mark Ruffalo, who is also fucking awesome. He's so great.
So
yeah,
awesome.
And he fits with that crowd perfectly.
One of the greatest lines in the history of cinema for me is him going. That's the secret. No, that's the secret. I'm always angry. And then he goes and punches a giant fucking alien in the face and destroys it in one punch. How fucking amazing is that?
It was fucking.
I could watch that every day forever.
I'm afraid, like, that because people are saying Guardians of the Galaxy is better than that. Like, at a certain point.
Well, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, was better than that. Like,
no.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, made Batroc the fucking Leaper a badass.
How do you
do that?
It's a very good movie, but
how do you make a Frenchman who wears a royal purple costume and jumps around
Bye, David.
But yeah, The Avengers is one of the best movies ever. So
pretty much.
Yeah. See, that was the best chase scene ever until the Raid 2 happened, and then that was the best chase scene ever. So we got two of the best chase scenes in any action movies ever in the exact same year.
Like, I just fear because at some point they have to stop being that good.
No, they don't. Don't destroy my.
They just can't keep making movies. It's like they're gonna like explode. All other movies are gonna be like pale in comparison.
Well, as long as they can keep like the quality through Phase 3 and then just go out high, and then if this Marvel,
they're never gonna stop, dude. It's Disney
I feel
we're talking about.
I feel like
they Star Wars, then it's like we're gonna make 20 more Star Wars.
Disney learned its lesson. Disney knows that yes, you can saturate the market, and it knows market saturated. Let's step back for a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason why you buy the Marvel license, is because theoretically they have like hundreds of characters that you could make movies about.
That is true.
You can start making Iron Fist and Luke Cage and.
Well, they're doing that on Netflix.
Well, exactly what I'm saying. They can make. They have a bunch of people they haven't even touched on yet.
And also, Marvel has like built-in. Like durability, like when Chris Hemsworth doesn't want to be Thor anymore, that's when you make your Thunderstrike movie, and it's just here's the next Thor, this guy, and we're just gonna call him Thor again, but really he's Thunderstrike.
They did that with Spider-Man already, and no one gave a shit. It's like, okay, do Spider-Man.
Well, no, they just kind of like I'm talking about in continuity. This Thor is done, but here's another Thor.
Oh, you're saying same Marvel cinematic universe.
But not Thunderstrike.
Here's what we don't have, though.
They're probably going to.
Do we understand that we have never had a world where Spider-Man has interacted with anyone in the Marvel universe? We have never had that world.
Except on TV.
Yeah, we're talking about movies.
Okay, I'm
There's
just.
never been a time, but think about all the awesome things you can do with Spider-Man when there's other heroes around. Think of all the things you can do with the X-Men. If the Avengers and the X-Men are fighting Galactus, it could be a fucking amazing thing. You have infinite numbers of team-ups that you can just throw Marvel people at.
That'll probably be like Phase 4 or 5 when Sony and Fox finally give up the goat.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
I think
There's going to be a lot of bad movies in between then and now.
It will be.
I keep hearing Christian wanting to chime in. What's up?
Oh, I don't remember what I had to say.
Oh,
I was
great.
kind of floating around in the background.
I'm sorry.
What is it? What is it?
We're very boisterous here.
Because
on this podcast.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are both in the Fox or Sony and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're not mutants. They can't be called mutants. They're not Magneto's children. But because they were on the Avengers team for such a long time, they are Avengers characters as well.
That's so weird. So could they technically use Spider-Man since he was on the?
No. He wasn't on the Avengers for long enough. He was just. He's
and
like.
he wasn't on the Avengers when they signed that deal with Sony. Like, him being on the Avengers is a recent thing.
Like him and Wolverine. That you can't get that.
Oh man, imagine Wolverine in the Avengers movie! How fucking great would that have been?
It wouldn't be very good because every time the X-Men show up in a regular Marvel regular Marvel Universe thing, it's never that good. The X-Men
just Wolverine. I'm just saying no one else. Fuck all the rest of them. I just want Wolverine.
As long as it's Hugh Jackman, because he needs to be Wolverine forever, because he is awesome as Wolverine.
You know what the only thing he doesn't have is he does not have the Wolverine voice from the 90s cartoon. That's the only... No, really. Like, it's just like Halle Berry and Storm. Storm's voice in the cartoon, amazing. Halle Berry's voice, not as great.
Well, Halle Berry's just not great.
Well, she's not great.
Yeah.
I understand. But, like, when you go watch the 90s cartoon, I think it's on X-Men. On Netflix.
On X-Men, of course it's
on. Of course it is.
It's also terrible.
What?
No,
really
no, what are you doing?
One of the greatest things of all time. Boring? The Dark Phoenix Saga, the regular Phoenix Saga?
The Marvel cartoons from the 90s are not very good in retrospect.
Incorrect.
Unlike the DC cartoons, which are fucking brilliant.
The Spider-Man cartoon isn't very good, but the
X-Men cartoon is one of the best cartoons ever been. It's one of the best cartoons ever.
The X-Men cartoon, like, it tells the story of the comics accurately.
Which I don't know. I don't really like the X-Men that much, so whatever.
They go into the future. They fight the Sentinels.
Right.
They have fucking Jean Grey turning into the Phoenix, then the Dark Phoenix. It is a masterpiece.
Like the animation blows, but
can we talk about? Why don't we end the podcast talking about the best thing the X-Men have given us, which has to do with that leaked Deadpool footage that came out.
I mean, does he talk in the leaked Deadpool footage?
Yes, it's Ryan Reynolds talking as Deadpool.
That's never going to happen, is it?
Imagine you gave the Merc with a mouth, and he could be fucking Deadpool. What a great fucking idea.
You know, X-Men Origins Wolverine is really good for 15 minutes, and then it becomes one of the worst movies ever.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, that first 15 minutes is so good. And
how did they mess up the guy on his claws in that bathroom?
Oh my
god! The fact that everyone hates that movie in spite of that first 15 minutes it shows just what a travesty that movie is.
It really is.
Oh, dude.
It's so bad.
And because I saw that movie, I illegally downloaded it when it came when the leaked half-finished CG version came out, and then years later, I'm like, okay, I'll go back and watch it. How bad could the effects have been? And some of those effects still look like they weren't finished. Like, when that bathroom scene, when his claws come out, they look like fucking 90s CG, like no textured fucking metal things sticking, glued onto his hand.
That's literally one of the only things I remember about that movie crystal clear, like that horrible scene in the bathroom. And it's such a nothing thing, but it just looks so bad.
You know what, though? That movie spawned one of the greatest, licensed video games, because X-Men Origins Wolverine, the game, is incredible.
It's weirdly good and super fucking violent.
It's so much better than the movie.
You can grind a dude's head into helicopter blades and find the hatch from Lost.
And
So
then
did they do like the Punisher style like execution thing, or like
yeah,
It
well,
was
they
like
did?
it was a God of War style game, but as Wolverine,
That's a good idea.
and
and
they
it
even
was
had a part of that
mature
movie
rated.
with you went it like at the like you went in the future of that game too. Like they were setting up like a sequel they wanted to do. Man, that game was great.
That game was great. The
Marvel's great.
Deadpool game
DC
was really
sucks.
great too. It was
It was
it
fun.
could it was yeah it captured Deadpool really well.
Yep.
It's too bad that they lost the license to Marvel like 6 months after that game came
Yeah,
out.
I know.
So no one could buy it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I bought it when I did.
Yeah, me too.
And it was totally worth the full price I paid because I love Deadpool. I have Deadpool socks. They came in my loot crate.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing.
I canceled Loot Crate because I was like, this is neat, but I don't need boxes full of stuff I don't have a place for.
Wait, what? What's wrong with you? Come on.
I don't have a place for boxes full of neat things that I will never use.
I have a place over here. You just pile things in my closet if
No,
you
no,
want.
why don't you buy them? And
I
pile them in
am.
your
I
closet?
already did.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
just saying. I'm getting paid again. I got all the stuff coming in the mail. It's great.
But yeah, that Deadpool movie looked so good. Like that was perfect Deadpool. And it
Yeah.
was him murdering people. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, here's Deadpool, he's super wacky, he's goofy, but it's PG-13. It's like, no, this is him brutally murdering a bunch, like jumping into a van full of armed thugs and just brutally murdering all of them.
They're going to find a way to mess that up. I don't know what they're going to do.
And at the end of the day, that's what action movies are. Murdering a bunch of dudes when we don't feel bad about it, because we have some little link that says we don't have to care about humanity for an hour and a half, while we watch just fucking weird shit happen for no reason. That's what action movies are. It's a time when we don't have to be human and we can just be horrible, lusting for blood, ready to watch everything die on a movie screen.
That's if we're going to leave you with any parting words, it's go watch The Raid and make Die Hard a Christmas tradition.
Yeah,
in your home today.
Yes.
Christmas in July.
Die Hard,
Die Hard.
best Christmas movie.
It is. It is actually
Only-
absolutely one of the best Christmas movies.
Only good Christmas movie, in my opinion.
Bad Santa is also a great Christmas movie.
Iron Man 3.
And
Iron Man 3.
I like
Oh.
Jingle. Jingle All the Way is not very good, but I like it.
okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll add that. Jingle All the Way is pretty good too. That
Awesome.
movie has Sinbad in it.
that movie 100% has Sinbad in it.
That Sinbad was an actor at some point. That can star with Arnold Schwarzenegger in
Yeah,
a movie.
Sinbad,
He had his own
Sinbad-
TV show.
yeah,
He
well,
did.
Sinbad's on-screen appearances will never be better than that episode he was in of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it turned out, where was he a hallucination or wasn't he? I don't know.
Oh man.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So there we go. Action movie. Not IP. Not intellectual property.
We'll
no,
get back
action.
to that. We'll get back to that. But
Sure we will.
I'll hijack it into something else next time. It'll be great.
I was fine with
I
this.
look
This should have
forward.
been a list, yes.
Of course, it was fucking. Of course, it was. It was fantastic.
And now that Christian,
We need to propagate that list more to get more subjects on it. How about that?
There you go.
now that Christian has joined our little cabal here, he now knows to just yell over everyone else like we do.
I
So
practice my yelling voice.
yes.
Awesome.
So yes, thank you all. Check Geekenstein. There's lots of good things going up.
Like the website.
Like the website. Alex and I recorded a bunch of In the Lab videos, and those will be going up periodically throughout the next 2 weeks. I started a new horror themed version of In the Lab, and I played Darkwood and Long Night, and that was fun.
My
Sort
Lovely
of.
Planet review should be coming either tomorrow or 2 days.
Is that game balls? Like is it? It's balls, right? And because balls can mean both.
It's actually pretty awesome.
That's
I mean,
good because
it's
I
like-
really like speedrunners, and everything else Tiny Build has done has been garbage.
Like the way I described it is it's basically if Katamari was a first-person shooter and hated you, but that was all right, then that's what this game is.
You have really good ways of describing things.
Thank you.
I need to play that.
It's awesome, dude.
I
should
need to
write-
play that just to know what the fuck it is.
You should write the press releases for these fucking indie games.
I'll do it, man.
You should.
Yes. So, yes, thank you everyone for listening. Keep checking Geekenstein for lots of awesome shit. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend.
Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Before we
And-
sign off, I do want to say that there's this drive-in movie theater that is going to be having a double feature of Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend. but
Wait,
they're
wait.
double-
What's
They're
the
doing-
other movie?
The other movie is Planes, Fire, and Rescue.
What?
Why? Well, they're both
Why?
they're both Disney movies.
Disney.
Yeah, sure, I guess. Who would ever want
Why
to watch
do we
that?
live in a world where Planes is
person?
not only not a direct-to-DVD sequel like it was supposed to be, but got a theatrical sequel? Like Planes has as many movies now as Cars does, and
Well,
no one
those-
cares. Like
It's already made $56 million.
Those
Over
on toy
budget.
sales alone.
God
Yeah.
damn it! God damn it, children!
Like,
Can't you go see How to Train Your Dragon 2, a really
What?
fucking good movie?
what drug-addled mind wants to go see Guardians of the Galaxy and then the plane sequel? There's no one in that audience. I don't even
If
care.
it's in that order, you get dinner and then you go to the drive-in and you start drinking, and by the time Guardians of the Galaxy is over, you're in the only mindset capable of processing Planes, Fire, and Rescue. You just make sure you bring your one sober friend who works all day long so he can sleep through Planes and then drive you home.
It's a very complicated plan.
It is a very complicated plan, but no other way to make both of those movie experiences fun.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Don't go see Planes and whatever. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, just go see Guardians of the Galaxy.
And maybe
And go see
Snowpiercer
her-
figure out what the fuck that is.
And go see Hercules as well, because that's probably dumb. And we need
Apparently
more
that
dumb
movie
action movies.
Has The Rock throwing a horse and punching a lion in the face.
Yeah,
Awesome.
So
go
like,
do it.
Winning right there. That's a reason to see a movie.
Yeah.
there is a webcomic I read that made that point, and the guy crossed two things off of his bucket list in one movie. So, like, I kind of need to see that now. I regret I had to work through my screener.
Support dumb action movies in theaters.
But don't watch The
Don't.
Legend of Hercules.
What do you mean?
That movie was fucking terrible.
Wait.
The Kevin Sorbo version. Kevin
No,
Sorbo.
no. I'm talking about the Hercules movie that came out this year, starring that one guy
Starring-
from Twilight and no one else.
No. The star of the movie is John Morrison of the WWE, because the Asylum had to hire another wrestler because The Rock is a wrestler, so they just had to go get a wrestler to be Hercules.
No, I'm not talking about the Asylum one. I'm talking about the
Wait.
theatrically released one.
There's
that
how
starred
many
that
of these
that
are there?
starred that dude from Twilight. It came out in January or February.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I reviewed it for us.
I forget.
It was
there's-
awful.
There's also an Asylum version of Hercules, starring John Morrison.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's not his real
Go
name.
watch
but that
those
was his
movies.
wrestling name.
There you
Yeah.
Go see Guardians. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy and fucking watch The Raid. I expect both Jared and Christian to have
I
seen
will
The Raid
definitely do it.
soon, especially after everything we've said about it. All
Have a
right.
good week, guys.
Bye, everyone.
So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go play Worms.